That's brilliant. So again, I think you get the message of the book. This is really about moving on beyond Twitter and Facebook. This is about looking how businesses can make more business sense of leveraging social technologies and the ethos of being more social. And that's really where I see the future going, and that's where the opportunities lie. So thanks again, guys, for joining us tonight and illustrating what this book is all about. And the story you've told, I think, connects the dot in a really nice way. So I'm going to have most of you guys ask your questions. We don't have so much time, we're running a little bit late. But I'm going to start off with one question, and it's about ROI. You sort of touched on it already, but I feel this is almost like the next battleground. We've kind of sold the teams into buying into social media. We started to spend some money, we're hiring social media practitioners, etc. And we're spending more and more money. We're doing large corporate projects that involves tons and tons of people. So the cost surely must be going up, and the pressure to prove the ROI along with it. Want to keep the answers really, really short and to the point, less than 30 seconds. So can you share with us the #1 ROI metrics that's tangible, that's easy to apply, that we can all kind of buy into and understand, and how you apply that or use that yourself? Yeah, do you want to start?
The most powerful thing here is actually your website analytics. So if you're doing things around product launch...
Can you be specific? Can you give us a tool that you use to measure ROI?
So I think it's only appropriate, but probably Google Analytics. So a few extra media spend there. But it's you've got to measure what's important to your business. So are people converting on your website? Are people coming from social? So do you have a strategy in place by which you're creating YouTube videos? From those videos, are you bringing people back to a website? From that website, are they converting? Are you retargeting people who have engaged with specific social campaigns? These are the things which go onto your bottom line, because you've done a social campaign, it's cost you so much, you've got this much sale. Obviously, depending on your organisation and the analytics integration you have, you might be able to track more things than others, but that's really where it comes down to. I think it's having social media as an integrated part of your campaigns and actually measuring the individual aspects of social media rather than saying, this is social media, we spent this much, we got this much benefit.
We took a conscious decision when we launched this that we would not have an engagement page for this. If you want to contribute, you can contribute. As Norman highlighted, we've had thousands and thousands of ideas on the clients that we engage with. So how do I measure the return? It's by the engagement we get by the team when we're not saying, here's a chargeable code. It's by the value we deliver to the clients who have got new ideas. And in fact, the team have pushed back and said, look, rather than just do this for clients, why can't you do this in other ways? So for example, and this is it, and I finish. For example, we've had a team within the firm come to us and say, can you reuse this platform to identify how we can engage better, so the best ideas for engagement come to the top. So they're using it in different ways. That's how I measure return on investment.
I will be very short. I don't have to. So I'm not going to give you a specific piece of ROI, but what I would say on measurement is don't measure yourself to death. I see a lot of organizations looking for tiny, small fragments of improvement. Can we improve 1% here, 0.5% there? And actually there's other organisations out there saying, how can we actually increase what we do, the impact of what we do by 10 times, and actually do some radical things. So coming back to my theme of my comments, think more about not how do I shave a very small amount of cost off here and improve a tiny amount of outcome there. Think about what could we do that would be really game-changing for this business. If you take something like book publishing, which we're here to talk about tonight, if I was in the book publishing industry, what would I do to deal with digital or the online world, rather than how can I get slightly cheaper paper from somewhere?
So I was just going to ask a question just to the PwC guys. It's great you've got 17,000 employees. Do you also open it up to the employees of the client? Because that's where I think you really get the value. Great question.
We haven't done yet, but yes. And not only that, we're going to do it with our clients, and we're going to do it with their customers as well.
That was a nice short question, a short answer. I like that. We can get more questions like that in. Yep.
Sorry, I was just going to ask, is that going to be a chargeable service?
If you're offering.
More questions?
Just following on from that, how did you get this through the business that you have 17,000 employees giving advice to your clients and not going through compliance and a number of different hurdles?
It's a great question. By the way, coming back to that question, we tend to do this on a value-based basis. We don't tend to charge by the hour on this one. If the client gets value, they get value. How do we get through it? As a firm, and it's a cracking question, as a firm, risk is just embedded in everything we do. So there are clear rules on client confidentiality. You could, if there was a team that were engaged on a competitor, you could exclude them from the site. So everyone has to have code, past security to get into the site. And as they go in, they're reminded of the strict rules. But it is something that's embedded in our culture. It was the point that we've been making and others have been making about the culture.
Questions for other companies about PwC? Another one for PwC. Seems to be the popular ones here. Yeah, over here. Do you want to use this?
Yeah. I've got one from the gentleman from Honda. I'm in a position, for example, where we've got lots of social media sites, but they work in isolation to everything else we have, our websites, etc. Do you see that you really need to integrate to have success in social media across the whole spectrum of digital properties?
I guess there's a question of kind of scale here. So it depends how much communication you're bringing out and how consistent it's going to be. I mean, for us with a product launch for a car, for instance, we're going to have a lot of information going out from PR department, from marketing department, customer division. So for us it's very important that actually the message is consistent, because each time we say something different, we're diluting it and we're not kind of engaging with the customer properly. I think for the best outcome, you do need to be integrated. Whether it's the case that actually you're running them from a central strategy or you're integrating and collaborating, but the information needs to go from whoever's managing one aspect of your communication to the other. I think this isn't just for social media, it's the same if you're talking about kind of direct mail or email. You don't want to be sending one thing and saying kind of our car's really fast, and then in the other one you're just concentrating on kind of cargo hold. You've got to have something consistent. As I said, there's technologies and there's kind of processes you can put in place, but again, we're going back to communication, collaboration, and putting in a structure which gives you the best results. Sorry, it's a little bit long. The actual kind of decisions about technology or kind of creating campaigns, it's probably 10% of the work. Most of it's actually engaging with the business, finding the right way to talk to different parts of the organisation, because again, for me, I've got cars, I've got bikes, I've got power equipment, they're all separate. Then within that, marketing, PR. So what's important to that person in power equipment, in marketing? So perhaps for them, it's retargeting from YouTube videos. For someone in PR for cars, perhaps it's how can we get the equivalent in social media mentions that we could in traditional press, and how can we measure it and make it kind of a benefit from that. So I'd say it's a lot of kind of human time, it's talking to people, it's making sure you're in the right meetings, but it's not easy, and it's 90% of my work is kind of working the organisation, I'd say.
If I should answer that, I work in the other end. I have nothing to do with commercials and selling or anything. I'm just, as I said, listening. I think it's easier, because every day I can prove I'm right. and if you can prove it every day, and you can tell we earn this much money if you do this, you sell it yourself. It's going to take a long time. It's a huge company, it's only, and I work for the small part, Sony Mobile. But anyway, it's getting there. And I think it's, if you look at the reporting we have every month, you can see that this is happening in social media. This is part of the information going out in the company. So I think it's going to, if you can prove it, you'll be right.
For more information, visit our website, firsttuesday.org.uk. Don't network, be the network.